This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the MARCHWAY dry bag, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So as you guys can probably see, this is a very durable external material here, and it is waterproof as well. So it's tarpaulin, and this tarpaulin is a 500D PVC with an external coating. So it's just very durable. It doesn't have any really give at all, and it's kind of hard to work with, but that's kind of the nature of dry bags, at least the ones that I have personally tested. At least the ones that work and keep your gear completely dry, they're all typically the same kind of material, just because it doesn't let any water in. And all the seams, there isn't any, stitching on the seams. Well, there is some stitching on some of the seams, but it is some kind of welded seam. So it is not like your traditional just stitched seam where there's, little gaps. So it's not the best, not the best seams I've ever seen. If you get closely here, you can kind of see it's not even in every place, but as I said, so far it has kept my gear dry, so I can't really complain too much about it. There are, I believe, 18 colorways at the time of at least me shooting this video, so there is a colorway pretty much for everyone. A lot of them are pretty vibrant, but there are some more sleek ones too, like black and darker colors, so you can find something that really meets what you're looking for. There are also 5 sizes to choose from. So this is the 20 liter, but there's a 5, a 10, and both of those are more slings than backpack style. And then we have the 20, the 30, and the 40. And the 40 actually has a more comprehensive harness system, whereas these are just pretty basic straps here, as you can see. The hardware on here is, at least the hard plastic stuff is unbranded. No issues with it so far. I would maybe be curious how it lasts in a more rugged environment, but no issues to really report so far. Really easy to snap things on and take them off as well. So I should note that in the directions or whatever that come with this bag, it does say that it is not designed for diving or anything like that. And obviously there's air in here, so it would kind of float anyways. But so you're not like, you don't want to intentionally put this under the water. It's more so like if you're going on a kayak trip or a boating trip or something like that, or you're going somewhere where it's going to rain a lot, this thing can withstand the elements. And it does, if it goes underwater, it's, at least in my experience, it's going to keep your gear dry, but it's not meant to like be underwater for an extended period of time. And also it does float, but it's not meant to be used as a flotation device. And I can't confirm that this does float. But enough about the external components. Let's dive into the rest of this pack. So when talking about the harness system, it's really easiest to say that there really isn't much of a harness system back here. So as you can see, it's just the same material on the back panel, no padding, no aeration. There's nothing going on back here that's any different other than this seam here than the front of the pack. So whatever you put inside kind of becomes the back panel, and right now I've got like packing cubes and different organizers in there, so it is a pretty okay back panel, but it is a little bit lumpy. It's like you can see something's kind of bulging out here, and so really whatever you put in there, so depending on what you're taking, this might or might not be a comfortable carry. So right now it's pretty comfortable, but depending on what you put in there. So we got these shoulder straps here, and they're really easy removable. So this is basically a dry bag with these little attachments added on, and then so you can attach the strap. So you can take these off really easily and just use this as a dry bag, but it is kind of marketed as a backpack. But these are just very basic straps, no padding, no aeration. You can get a good amount of adjustment here to make them longer or shorter. So that is a nice feature. So not even if you don't want to necessarily wear this, you can like hook this on different things. Like if you're in a canoe or something, you can kind of hook this or tie this, take one of these off and hook this to the boat or something like that. So you do have some options there, but as I said, as far as a harness system goes, there isn't much of a harness system, and it's pretty hot because there's no mesh or anything to keep airflow. So just something to keep in mind, that this is not, something you're going to want to go on a really long hike with, but it gets the job done. And if you're just taking it, from the car to the boat or something like that, you can carry it, and it is comfortable enough. So as you can see, it is a backpack because of those straps, but it is not, the most comfortable or intuitive fit you've ever seen probably. But right now it's pretty comfortable. It's not super heavy because I am just, I have packing cubes and a couple other things, which we'll see when we get inside the main compartment in there right now. But if you do have heavier items in there, like if you're packing some like some gear for your canoeing or kayaking or something like that, and you have some heavier stuff in there, or you're putting electronics in there because you want to keep them dry, and electronics are pretty heavy, these straps are going to start to dig in because obviously they don't have that padding or aeration or anything like that. And also the back panel, there's no back panel, so if you have things that are more rigid, you're really going to feel that on your back, and it's going to impact the comfort. So moving into the main compartment, as you guys have probably seen throughout this whole video, this is a roll top. And so in that same directions or whatever thing that came in the bag, it says you need to roll it at least 4 or 5 times to make a good seal. Our experience with roll tops is the more you roll it, the more secure it is because you're getting, more things in the way of water trying to get in. But with that same token, the more times you roll it, the less space you have. So 4 or 5 proved to be okay, at least in my testing. But I guess depending on how you use the bag, it could be different. So unrolled now, as you see, these kind of got caught up in there while I was unrolling it. But if they stay on the outside, they do swivel. So it can kind of stop that from happening. But they do kind of get caught in this sometimes while you're unrolling it. You can also just, remove them fairly quickly to get them out of the picture. So moving inside, it's going to be hard to really show you the inside because it is just basically, it's a long chute. When you're putting stuff in here, sometimes it can feel like you're putting stuff in like a big contractor bag because you can't really see. And like if you're trying to get something that's like on the bottom, you got to like stick your arm way down in there. And I have long enough arms so I can do that, but if you have shorter arms, you might struggle with that. So I'm going to take out the gear I have in there right now. I've got my tech pouch with like my charger, portable charger, and all that. And then just some packing cubes to kind of show you spatially what you can fit inside this 20-liter bag. So those 2 smaller, medium-sized packing cubes, depending how you look at it, and then a large or an XL here as well. And I did have extra room in there, and these do compress down a little bit, so I probably could have cinched this down more if I wanted to, but those fit in there really nicely with some room to spare. But looking inside there now, you can see there is nothing going on in there. There's no organization, segmentation. There's just nothing in there. So 2 things about that is because there's nothing in there, you can fit more gear. Typically when there's organization and segmentation, it takes up space. So that's kind of a positive for me because you can fit so much gear inside of there. But then on the same note, because there's no organization inside there, I had to use these organizers to kind of organize my gear to make it easy to find. Like say I didn't have this tech pouch and I just had my phone charger intermixed in there with a bunch of other gear, finding the phone charger would be really hard. I mean, this thing is, 20 liters is a big bag, and finding a rogue phone charger in there with your other gear when you're not using organizers, packing cubes effectively is gonna be hard. But because this is a bit larger and all my tech's in one place, I can kind of reach in there, grab this, I know my phone charger's in there, get my phone charger out, and it adds a step, but it really does make it that much easier. And I think it's also quicker for the most part when you're looking for gear. So I feel like I have been kind of hard on this pack overall, and it's hard to kind of transition from travel backpacks and day packs, which we're really familiar with, to a dry bag like this. And I really actually think this is a great value because I think all of the packs up to 40 liters come in at under $30, at least at the time of me shooting this video. So it's a really good value. And as I said, this thing kept my gear dry, in the rain, but also like in testing in the shower and in the bathtub to try and really, see if I could get water in there. It never made it inside. So for this bag right now, I think about $25 is, or maybe even less, I think it's actually closer to $20, is a great deal. And, even if you have to buy the packing cubes and stuff like that, you're not going to, like the cost of packing cubes and this bag, you're not going to get up to the cost of like a Filson bag or something like that. So it's a pretty good value. We'll keep updating the usage timeline to see, how obviously these edges here on the side get a little bit more wear than the front part of this pack. So we will update the usage timeline. So check back for that. But overall, very happy with this, especially for the price you're paying. So there you have it, the MARCHWAY Dry Bag 20 liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.